And there we are. A little bit bright, eh? Let's change that a little bit. Let's bring her down. Wow. There we go. Much better. So how is everybody doing? I don't do a lot of these. I just thought today, I don't like to do it on the weekend. People are busy. Plus, there's a whole bunch of other channels doing live stream stuff. But I just thought I would come on, say hi, see how everybody's doing. Take a break from video editing. I'm going to be uploading some stuff. We got another Patreon reaction community double stuff. Samantha McCarroll Hines. So Sam's been a longtime friend. She's a Patreon. She's almost like a bit of a guardian angel when it comes to some of the deep dive stuff with Prince. She's been a big help. Really appreciate you, Sam. I hope you're doing well. Okay. Gay McCullough. So Gay is the very first Nightwish fan to join my Patreon reaction community. Very greatly appreciated. Got a lot of Nightwish stuff coming up. I'd like to try and schedule a live Zoom meet and greet on for my Patreon. The trick is our Patrons are from all around the world, so it's kind of finding a time that kind of works for everybody. But I'd like to meet everyone in person on Patreon. Megadog 555. It's going good. Here's a sweep for you. My good buddy Al Roson. Al, here's one for you. Al it's kind of interesting. Al and I have never met, but we're from the same region in Canada. Okay, we're from the Ottawa area. So for all the people around the world, if you're an NHL fan, the Ottawa Senators is the team here. And I've heard Al's name. I've probably seen him on a lot of the musicians boards. Although I'm a recluse now, I live a couple hours away, very remotely out in the boonies now. Just passable enough internet to be able to do what I do for YouTube. But from what I know of Al and what I've heard of him, I've heard good things. So I actually played Gavin's many years ago. I played a few gigs there, so I'm familiar with Gavin's, but I don't get out too much anymore. Gay, I would love to meet everyone on Zoom. Got a lot of new Patreons on my reaction channel. Just so there's no confusion, you guys know I have a guitar Patreon channel, so it has all kinds of extra lessons for all the crazy stuff that a lot of the guitar players want. Extra lessons, all kinds of cool stuff, downloadable stuff. But my reaction community has been growing with a lot of Nightwish fans. Again, Gay is the first Nightwish fan to join my Patreon. So we have a lot of, I'm actually uploading more content. I'm doing a double shot tonight. I'm uploading some more content for the Nightwish and the Prince fans. Something a little different for the Prince fans. Megadog in Rochester, New York. Rochester Americans, the AHL team. So Megadog, growing up in the Ottawa region, for whatever reason, the American stations we had were all from Rochester. So we had WHEC, what were the other ones? Sorry, NBC or CBC, CBS, ABC. They were all the Rochester affiliates. So we, grew up watching, like, Gabe Dalmuth was like the news reporter. So we learned about Rochester, the Rochester Americans and stuff. So I'm actually pretty familiar with Rochester, my friend. Okay. Have you ever been to the House of Guitars? That is on my bucket list. I always wanted to go there. Tony, my good friend, a man named Briggs. Good afternoon, all. And just busy doing filming. I got some YouTube video coming today, and I got, you guys are probably noticing I'm putting more time into my Patreons. So I got some extra Patreon content coming tonight. We're going to do a shot. Yay, you're in Rochester too. So you and Megadog are Nightwish fans. So yeah, so that's our story. Being in the Ottawa region, I don't think it's like this anymore. And there actually, I was reading about this not long ago. We got all our Saturday morning cartoons, like from ABC, CBS. I mean, it was all the Rochester affiliates. So again, I remember like sometimes you're watching the news and it's like Gabe Dalmuth. I think he passed away a few years ago. Janet Lomax, the sports guy, Rich Funky, but I think he like a senator now or something. So we're very familiar with Rochester. But anyway, yeah. So, but oddly, Al Rozon and I, who's part of the chat here, we've never met. I remember when Al first popped up on, I think he commented on a YouTube video or something. Like, why do I know that name? So I think we just kind of saw each other a little bit on the musicians boards over the years. But Al's a very good local musician, and I've only heard good things about Al. But I tend to be very reclusive by personality. Like even like a lot of the local music community and stuff, I just really keep to myself. I almost have a form of avoidant personality disorder. I'm not diagnosed or anything. I just really keep to myself now. But I was a bit more in the scene 15, 20 years ago kind of thing. But yeah. Okay, Megadog, he gets his CDs from House of Guitars, Sabaton, Epica, Nightwish, my top 3. Megadog, I want you to do something for me, okay? I want you to check out a band called Sovereign Council. They're kind of aligned. A student of mine from 20 years ago, that's his band. They're from the Ottawa area. They opened up for Epica, and they have a new CD out. They're fantastic, called Sovereign Council. Check them out. Let me know what you think. Same thing, Gay. You might like that band as well. Winter Sun, we're going to check out some more of that. My good friend Sam again. But the thing is keeping at home. Keeping at home is much easier in the winter. So where I live in Canada, I'm actually in Western Quebec now. The winters are brutal. We're probably on the same parallel as Minneapolis. So Sam and I, we talk a lot about the weather, and what do they say? The cold keeps the bad people away, or something, right? Dimitri's that passed. Oh my God, no! Rest in peace, Tina Turner. Did she really pass away? I gotta check that. Oh no, this is really sad. Guys, yeah, Tina Turner passed away. She was 83. My dad loved Tina Turner. I remember as a kid, all her hit songs would be on, and when she would come on the TV, my dad would come downstairs because he wanted to see her. She had intestinal cancer that was diagnosed in 2016. That is so sad. I had no idea. Sam, did you know? I'm just hearing about this now. Normally I don't. So Al was saying it just popped up in his Facebook feed a few minutes ago. Sam saying she doesn't pay attention to the news. I try not to. I really do. I find, but lately with what's been going on in the world, probably since what happened to the world a couple of years ago, with what's going on in Ukraine, I do tend to pay attention to the news a little bit more than I normally do. That's very sad about Tina Turner. Very sad. Any of you have any questions? As long as it doesn't have to do with relationships or mathematics, religion or politics, we're good. I avoid religion and politics like the plague on my YouTube channel. Yeah. So a man named Briggs, my good buddy Tony. Tony is down in Phoenix, Arizona. It's currently 35 degrees Celsius with a high of 38. Yes. All I know with Fahrenheit is the temperature of water for a pool. 72 is cold, but once you get past 75, it's a little better. But I'm a Celsius guy normally. Can't wait until we hit the real summer weather here in Phoenix. Where we are in Canada, it's kind of weird because it's a country of extremes. Our winters are brutal, and our summers, especially the past few years, have gotten quite hot. but it's still relatively cool here. I'll tell you what it is here. So it's 24 in Minneapolis. It is here. It's 10 degrees Celsius. It feels like 7, so it's a little bit chilly. Megadog 55. This is, you know, I did some videos on this guitar. I'm very particular about guitars. This is a Schecter Damien Elite. It has the active EMGs, 81s in the bridge, 85s in the neck. Floyd Rose bridge. I had this guitar, and I had a 7-string model of it. So it's the Damien Elite FR Diamond series. Very important to distinguish from the other ones. And I sold it to a student back in 2014. I sold them. I went through a musical burnout. Anyone who's been really following my channel, especially my Patreons, are aware of what happened. I got into some details of that. But I sold them, and then, you know, I got away from music for a couple of years. That's why some of these bands like Nightwish, Polyphia, it's all new to me, because I was literally in a time warp for a few years. But I'll do a more specific video about that down the road. But I've given enough little clues and hints about all that in a lot of more recent videos. But I sold these 2 guitars, and I really regretted selling them. And the student, he didn't want to sell them back to me, which is understandable. They're good guitars. But he, and I found one of these used. I did 2 videos about it, Megadog, about Schecter guitars. One last year, and then this was an updated one. A young lad in this area was selling one used. And you don't see these used very often. And he gave me a good price for it. It wasn't set up properly, anything to do with the Floyd Rose. There's a lot of fraud out there when it comes to guitars, with a lot of places that do work and setups on your guitars. I did a video about it. I took this guitar to an actual trained luthier who was amazing, and he did a proper setup on it. But I did a video. It was called "Who Do You Trust with Your Guitars?" It's not getting many views, so I'm probably going to change the title and the thumbnail on it, hopefully to get a few more views on it. But I do like this guitar a lot, though. I like the neck. But I have a number of guitars. I have a Dean 7-string, the Rusty Cooley model. I pretty much consider Rusty and I kind of friends now. I interviewed him last year, but I've been a fan of his for over 10 years anyway. When I don't feel like practicing or want to push my chops, I just watch the videos of him playing. But I've got a couple of old Ibanez guitars from the late 80s, a 770, a 570, a couple of old stage guitars when I did the country thing. I've got a Jackson Demolition. So I do like this guitar a lot. What do you play? Oh, the frostiness in the mornings here is really late in the season. It is true, Al, for sure. When I get my rear end to the gym, it's usually early in the mornings when nobody's there, and it's a little bit chilly. Sam, lots of air quality issues this week, though. I'm assuming Canadian forest fires. I heard that about in Alberta, because of the forest fires are crazy in Alberta right now, so they're coming down into the northern states. And I've heard that Minneapolis has been having some issues. Yay, it's 11 Celsius here. Just had a cold front go through, so temperature is dropping. Green-eyed, our good friend, Green-eyed. I know her other name, but I always struggle with this. Green-eyed baby. How are you doing? Good to see you. I'm glad. I hope everything is going well. How are you doing? Gabe McCullough, do you play anything besides the guitar? I play keyboards, but I'm not a real keyboard player. I do play bass, but I'm not a real bass player. And many years ago, when I worked in the regional circuit, I actually sang. I actually can sing country music, not too bad. Although I'm a hard rock metal guy, but for years I did that because I paid more and I had some bills to pay and I had some other stuff going on. But so I played the country circuit for a long time as well. Megadog 555. You're fan only. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I thought you played the guitar. Al Roson, I was in Toronto this past weekend and there's smoke from the forest fire. Oh, wow. That's amazing. What do you play, Gay? Yeah, Megadog, he sees a keyboard. I like, you know what, Al? Sometime I'd like to go down to Toronto just to see a concert. Hit a few restaurants. Where we are, Montreal is a little closer, as it is for you, I'm sure. So, and I love the city of Montreal. It's a little bit closer, and I love the eating in Montreal too. Sam, I think they said the air quality in Minnesota was the worst in the world last Thursday. I saw something about that. Of course, being a Prince fan, anything I see about Minneapolis, it piques my interest. Green-eyed doll baby, I'm doing. So that means you're okay. But it's great to see you. Eric Vermeulen, is there country metal? Probably. Al Rosen. So you see, if you played the country circuit, you may know my dad, Geb. He played in the band Southern Justine. They were big in the area. So for me, Al, it was in the 2000s, and I played my last gig 10 years ago. And that's something I hope you and I meet sometime. It'll be good to meet sometime, maybe grab some wings. But I think you're on the far end of Ottawa, aren't you, in Orleans? There's a place called the Prior Sports Bar, more somewhat in my area. It would be great to meet sometime and have some wings on wing night. Southern Justice. So that would have been before my time. So in the 90s, I was playing in metal bands. Sam, not that I would have gone outside if I was home. Sam's kind of, I think Sam's kind of like me. I like being home. I'm a bit of a recluse. I love my favorite social. I'm not a big Facebook fan. I have a Facebook just for like my businesses, meaning guitar teaching businesses. But I'm not a big fan of Facebook. I just find it's too much. Like one of the things I love about YouTube is we can all be friends. There's just a little bit of space. I like my space. Oh, what's up, dude? What's up? Megadog 555, Belgian Jaspers from Toronto. He does great music interviews. He came to Rochester and went to Morbid Angel and Crypta. I wanted to do a review of like a reaction to Crypta. I've liked Morbid Angel since Altars of Madness, the late 80s, but I really am worried about Trey Azagthoth. It's almost like he's really kind of losing his marbles or something lately. My good friend Edmundo heard the news about Tina Turner too. Rest in peace. Very sad. It's almost scary because it's almost like every time I do like a live thing, I hear about someone passing away. That happened a while ago with Jeff Beck. Big Jesus Truck. I have heard of that. Country punk fusion band. I have heard of that. Gay McCullough. I don't have a musical bone in my body. Tried the trumpet when I was a kid and learned that playing and singing were not one of my talents. You know what? Some people think I'm a good guitar player. Maybe some people don't. When I started out, when I got my first guitar in 86, I tried to teach myself for about 4 years and I was awful. I had friends begging me saying, Brian, give it up, stick to football or working out, do something that you're good at. But I was very fortunate. My first real instructor in Ottawa was a really good guitar teacher. And he really gave me the tools that I needed instead of just soaking me for money, teaching me bits of songs. He was big on technique and theory and stuff. And that really kind of started my real guitar progress. So there's no real music in my family. And but I just, worked hard, Sam, I played 10 instruments. Yes, Sam, you did tell me that. And was it brass? I don't know, was it the flute or was it the and Sam, you know me, like I'm with names and certain details. I don't know what it is, but in later years it's harder for me to remember things. I try to remember every musician who played with Prince since he started and the names of all the albums and the dates and everything. It's very difficult. So everyone's been very patient with me and I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'd like to check out Crypta. They were they playing with Morbid Angel when that big accident happened in Chicago or something? And something happened to their bus. And I was thinking of doing a video about it and posting their GoFund account link to help them out a little bit. But when I kind of figured all that out, it was kind of a little bit late for that. But Ben breaks, man, I can play the hell of a triangle. But isn't the Foo Fighters? They have someone that does a triangle solo on their live gigs. Yeah, we got to meet sometime, man. Just to chat music sometime. Like the wings there, they're half price. They're good. It's hard to get a spot though. It's packed. It's nutty in there. It's a big restaurant. Sam, I was looking through some old screenshots of Prince's tweets. One person asked if he sang in the shower, and he said, "No, I sing on stage." I have something a little different. I'm going to upload to Patreon, Sam. I'm really hoping you guys like it. I got a double shot for my Patreon reaction community. One's for Prince, and one is for the Nightwish fans. So I really hope that you guys like it. Mainly saxophone. Yes, that's it, Sam. That's it. Maybe sometime we could do a little jam over Zoom. You know, we could do one of those collabs on a song or something. We could edit it and put it all together. Green-eyed little baby. I've been listening to a lot of. I know you as Valencia, but that's so I try and call you by your YouTube name, but you know me with names, right? I've been listening to a lot of Santana again. I'm so in love with his version of While My Guitar Gently Weeps with India Ari. Oh my God, that guitar solo is mesmerizing. More so than the Prince's version. You know, Valencia, I've been thinking about doing like an actual guitar breakdown of Prince's solo on While My Guitar Gently Weeps, but so many other guitar channels have done that. I'm kind of looking for another famous solo besides Purple Rain that Prince did that I could do like a guitar breakdown of. Megadog 555, yes, Belgian Jasper did an interview about that. So, what happened with Crypto? Were they able to get the funds to repair their vehicle? It was like a tornado or something, and it hit the theater where they were playing, and the roof came down on a guy and killed him, and their bus or trailer was destroyed. Sam Morris asked me years ago if he would record a song. If I would record a song with him for his World Symphony. Oh, that would have been cool though, man, to play with. I'm assuming Morris Hayes. Megadog 555, really worth seeing. I'll tell you what, Megadog, email me at yesyoucanplayguitar@gmail.com, and you send me the link to the Crypta thing, to the Crypta performance, a live performance that you think would be best for me to do, and I'll do it. Okay? We've done our recording for the week, but I will definitely try and squeeze it in next week for sure. And I'll give you a shout out. Sam, you should check out Donna Grandis' song Master Manifester from her Diamonds and Dynamite album. She incorporates a ton of different guitar licks that she played with Prince. Yeah, so when we did our Patreon deeper dive to the Montreux concert 2013 with Third Eye Girl, I knew Donna was really good, but I really got to appreciate the band more. But I would love to check that out. Check that one out. Sam, would you mind sending me the link to that? And I've also contacted Donna for an interview, okay? But we're going through a real dry period right now for interviews, not just on the Prince end of things, but even on some of the guitar players that I would like to interview. I sent out about 20 emails. I like to email people. I don't like to bug them on social media. I'd also like to interview Ren. And also, I want to kind of get my knowledge of Nightwish caught up. I have a lot of catching up to do to learn about the band. And then what I'd like to do is interview different members of Nightwish, but with a Patreon, interviewing them with me. So, Gay, you might be up for that. You're the first Nightwish fan to join my Patreon, so I got you in mind for that. Bambi would be good, or Why You Want to Treat Me So Bad, his guitar on Let's Work. Is there like a live one on those songs, where he does a live one, kind of like what he did with the Hall of Fame? That would be great. Awesome, Sam. I really appreciate it. Now I'm thinking about chicken wings. I'm talking to Al about going to this place called The Prior, and it's wing night tonight, but I can't go because I got to teach. I got guitar lessons tonight. So believe it or not, guys, I work a job. I give guitar lessons. So I got to give lessons tonight, but And by the time we would get there, it's about an hour from here, so it'd be really late. Sweet Hot, Al, those are my favorite. Sweet Hot. Where I think you're in the East End, so where in the East End do they have the best wings? Local Heroes on Bank. It's not on Bank Street anymore. There's one on Clyde. They have those huge turkey wings. Megadog 555. Have you seen Nightwish High Hopes 2 solos? I haven't yet, but that's the problem when you do reactions on the channel. So like my Nightwish journey, I can't go ahead and listen to the other songs because then if I eventually do a reaction to them, it's not a true reaction. So one of the things that isn't the negatives about doing reactions is like, so we're doing Nightwish. I recorded a reaction video to a Nightwish song. I did a reaction to a Flora Jansen song that I'm uploading to Patreon today. The Nightwish one will be out later this week. But I can't go ahead and listen to their songs because then I can't do a reaction to it. It won't be a true reaction. I can't do that to the people that are watching. So, a man named Riggs, Brian, I got to say that is a mighty fine-looking guitar you got there. So this is actually, to be complete, this is kind of like a middle-of-the-road guitar. This is a Schecter Damien Elite Diamond series with a Floyd Rose on it, but it does look nice. It's beautiful. It plays great. The pickups are quite good in it, the active EMGs. And, my channel is growing. It would be kind of cool to hook up with a guitar company down the road. If I could, Schecter would probably be one of the guitar companies I would talk to. But also, I've had a luthier talk to me about doing a custom-made electric guitar to my specs. So we'll just see what happens. Cool things happen when you have a growing channel. So we'll just hope and see what happens. And, of course, I'm getting phone calls because I'm going live. Probably from a telemarketer or a scam thing going on. Al Rosan, yeah, Broadway's here have the best hot baked wings. I've been to Broadway's. I haven't had their wings though, and it was a long time ago. It was probably about 10 years ago since I've been there. I don't get into the city too much, Al. I know this makes me sound old, but when I lived in Ottawa, late 80s into the 90s, now I go back, the city's growing so much. It's crazy. Samantha McCarroll Hine, my good friend Sam. Gay McCullough. Okay, I was on a friend's podcast years ago, but they literally had to trick me into doing it. Thought I was going over to help with their website. Yes. I think you had mentioned that before, Sam. Al, I have friends that live in your neck of the woods. So the next time I'm in the Pontiac area, I'll hit you up. Al, that'd be awesome. Message me anytime, man. I'm not big on Facebook, but if you're following me on Instagram, send me a message or an email or whatever. But yeah, it'd be good to see you sometime. I'm very picky. There's not a lot of awesome areas to eat around here, so you have to travel. But probably will be on the Ontario side. But Gay McCullough, High Hopes is from 2005, I think. So you should be fairly early in your journey. Yes. Samantha, Sam, are they mother of pearl inlays? So the round dots? No, they could be though. I don't know. I think they're abalone, if I remember correctly. And I always think of Scooby-Doo with Shaggy saying abalone, but anyway, hard to tell from the video. Megadog, Epica consigned to oblivion live at the Zenith Paris. Simone is Flora's best friend. So again, as I said, an old guitar student of mine has been Sovereign Council from Canada. They've opened up for Epica. It'd be interesting to have a few Nightwish fans check their band out. They just had a release of a video called World on Fire, I think. I did a reaction to it a few weeks ago to see what you guys would think of it. But yeah, there's going to be a long deep dive into. So I'm just like, what do I do? Do I go back and do more of Tarja's stuff and kind of move forward again chronologically, or do I just kind of go all over the place with the different ones that I would love to see Ghost Love Score, a Tarja version and a Net version and a floor version. I think that'd be cool. We have white pork, hot dogs, and Genesee beer. Well, the Genesee River's there, right? Megadog, right? White pork, hot dogs. Is that the food in Rochester? I would like to go to Buffalo to the original place where they had buffalo wings. I watched Food Insider. I am a foodie. I've often thought about finding the best poutine place in the area and doing a video on it. But I know in Buffalo there's there's 3 different big places for wings. So I definitely want to check them out next time I'm in Buffalo. I haven't been there in a while, but Al Rosen, my father-in-law lives in Armport. Awesome. I'll hit you up. That would be awesome, Al. Gay McCullough, and garbage plates. Okay. Okay, now I got to know what this is. So, hypothetically speaking, if I was going through Rochester, which I've been through Rochester before, I frequented, especially Watertown, Plattsburgh. I used to live in Cornwall, which is on the border between Ontario and New York. It's a border city. I'd be across the border in 2 minutes. Normally I go to Plattsburgh or Watertown. But Rochester, what is the restaurant in Rochester to go to? And garbage, please. I don't know what that is. I feel like I should know, though. Two cheeseburgers, home fries, mac salad with all the toppings. I know in the States they really like their mac. Well, we do up here too, but no, in the States, like sometimes the sides that they have are a little different. Like I've been to, oh, what's that place? It's like right on the tip of my tongue. Oh my gosh, it's a fancy store and they have meals there. Oh, what's the name of that place? Something to do with cheese, maybe, or something cheddar barrel, maybe, or Cracker Barrel, maybe it was called. But you go there, they have like grits as a side. I don't even know what grits are. They like their like mac and cheese as a side, which we don't really do up here in Canada. Like if you have mac and cheese, I guess you have mac and cheese, but it's different when you go through different parts of the States, like the different foods and stuff. Like so, like when I interviewed Rob Arnold from Chimera. They're doing a big reunion thing right now, but great metal band too. But he's from Ohio. They're from Cleveland. So when we were talking, I'm like, Rob, I've been through Ohio many times. You know what I think about when I go there? He's like, what? I think Waffle House. There's so many Waffle Houses in Ohio. Ohio had some great restaurants to eat in. Of course, I love Texas Roadhouse. That's one of my favorites. I've been to the Texas Roadhouse near Buffalo. One of my favorites. Oh, aren't grits cracked wheat? Something like that. I have no idea what the hell they are. But whenever I've been in the States and like, would you like grits? I'm like, no, I don't know what that is. So I'd also like to, I want to be careful. I don't want you guys thinking I'm rich, and I'm not. But I'd like to go to as Luger Steakhouse in New York. That's another place I'd like to hit up. But I've been to New York City before, but the thought of driving in New York City is like, no. Like just think, like Toronto for me now, I'm like, oh God. If I have to go bypass Toronto, if I'm going to the States or something, I'll go on the other side and go to Watertown and drive down through Syracuse just to not have to drive through Toronto now. So big, so you can imagine in New York. Megadog 555, Canada still makes the best beers. Yeah, I'm not a big drinker, but I can appreciate a drink or two on the weekend. I hate to tell you this, but I'm more of a cooler kind of guy. White Claws are really popular right now. I know they're not packing a lot of punch, but they're kind of light. But Canada does make beer's a big thing here. Labatt's, Molson's. But I'm sure all the stuff you can get in here, like Rochester's close to the border, so you guys probably have Tim Hortons in Rochester. That's one of our biggest exports. I love every day. You see me drinking. If you ever see me doing this in my videos, I'm drinking Tim Hortons French vanilla cappuccino. Sugar content isn't very bad, and it tastes quite good. And I make that in a Keurig, and that's what I drink. If you ever see me with this in any of my videos, that's what I'm having. Potato chips with vinegar. You mean French fries? Oh, you mean like buying bags of chips with vinegar? Yeah, salt and vinegar is very common up here, as well as ketchup chips. We have so many microbreweries now around. That's true. I've noticed that for a long time. Our good friend Wanda Manning is joining us all the way from Utica, New York. Rest in peace, Tina Turner. I just got the news of that. Very, very sad news as soon as we went live here. Very sad. Some of my memories of Tina Turner are my dad loved Tina Turner. He loved Tina Turner. Her songs would come on. We'd be watching like video shows in the 80s, and all of a sudden he'd be busy upstairs, and all of a sudden he'd be downstairs watching with us. It's like, Dad, what are you doing? Yeah. Eric Vermeulen, first heard of ice wine when visiting Ontario. Where are you from, Eric? Gay. Yeah, we have those chips here now, but they're not the same. Do you guys have Joe Louis in the States now? Some people have compared them to moon pies. I've been to the States and had moon pies. Moon pies are actually not like Joe Louis. They're actually more like wagon wheels. That's what they're called in Canada. So moon pies are like wagon wheels, but Joe Louis are just really delicious. I feel they're not quite as good since I took the trans fat out of them, but they had to do what they had to do. But Mega Dog 555. We just had Big Deal Brewery missing chiclets turning. Okay. Sam's annoyed when people ring the doorbell. Yeah. We live in a small village, if you can call it that. It's beautiful here, but usually it's pretty quiet. People tend to leave us alone. Ed Mundo, I miss Timmy's coffee. Again, Ed, you see me with this? When I have the Yeti, I'll give Yeti a shout out here. That's what I'm having always. Is Tim Hortons French vanilla cappuccino. Eric Vermeulen, Amsterdam, awesome. So Eric, I'm going to guess you are a Nightwish fan. My mother went to Eindhoven back in 2013. I dropped her off at the airport. And Eindhoven, of course, famous for the metal festival there. A man named Briggs, I will always welcome Tina Turner for the song River Deep, Mountain High. Yes, absolutely. Al Rosan, ketchup chips seem to be unique to Canada. Is that still true? Sorry, Al, I just wanted to play that lick. Well, our American friends could probably answer that. It's kind of weird when I'm down in the States. It's like sometimes you'll stop at like a gas station and you look around and there's like these subtle differences between Canada and the United States with food. Eric Vermeulen. So Netherlands visited relatives in Canada 20 years ago. Okay. In Ontario, may I ask where in Ontario? Sam, I'm in North Minneapolis, but I'm at the end of a dead end street. Folks don't generally make it down here. And the dude was selling turbo securities. She get one of those iRing cameras, eh? Everyone in the States has those. I so was hoping to get over to Paisley Park this year, but unexpected expenses kind of killed that plan for the year, but I'm hoping for next year. Sam, ketchup is gross in any form. Sam, I love ketchup. I use a no sugar or no sugar added ketchup from Heinz, so there's a lot less sugar in it, but I absolutely love ketchup. I would almost put ketchup on cereal. I love it so much. So once in a blue moon, if I eat what we call here in Canada craft dinner, so it's like a mac and cheese, I put so much ketchup on it and it grosses people out. Eric, I love Nightwish, but since 70s, most yes, Genesis, Pink Floyd, Mike Oldfield. Okay. Genesis, I have a special attachment to their older stuff in my heart, especially Trick of the Tail and the Wind and Wuthering albums, for sure. Now, Sam, my wife loves ketchup. I love ketchup chips too. But now when we talk about it, probably Lay's ketchup chips are the best. They have some like, if you go to Walmart, they have some like great value ones now that are extra ketchupy, or some the dill pickle ones are way too much dill on them now. Mad Dog 555. We have ketchup chips, but just like Canadian money, goes 75 miles south. I can't where. Yeah, you never seen. I can believe it. Oh, ketchup on grilled cheese salad. Absolute must. Absolute must. Sam. I love Sam's sense of humor. Your body replaces all the cells in your body every 7 years. So taste buds change. I'll pray for you. Eric, I visited Ottawa in a small village southwest of Toronto. So myself and Al, who's joining us in the conversation here, as a teenager and adult, I lived most of my life in Ottawa. So capital Canada. Yep. That's really cool that you got to go there. And a small village southwest of Toronto. I've probably heard of it, but I'm sure everyone else probably hasn't. But Wanda Manning, I've never heard of ketchup chips, but I love dipping my Lay's potato chips in ketchup. Tastes like French fries. Wanda, someday we'll be getting down to Utica. I want Wanda to experience Texas Roadhouse. That's one of my favorite chains in the United States is Texas Roadhouse. I've never been to a bad one. They're all awesome. I've been to Texas Roadhouse in Cincinnati, Buffalo, Syracuse, Watertown, Buffalo, Plattsburgh. Loved it. Favorite restaurant in the States for sure. Also, when I was in not Cincinnati, I was in Columbus. They had a really good restaurant there too called the Rusty Bucket. I love that restaurant too. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. Who would you like to see me interview on the channel? Anyone music related? I could interview a lot of food related people, but a lot of people would be confused. Like, this is kind of a music channel, man. Gay. Have you been to any Nightwish? Okay, she's asking Eric there. A man named Briggs. At my local market, I saw ketchup Doritos. Oh, yes. And mustard flavored ones too. I don't know about that. I had a friend who's not with us anymore. He hated ketchup and hated tomatoes. So when you go to his place, he'd always have French fries you'd make in the oven. So he loved vinegar. He would take salt and vinegar chips and put them into a bowl of vinegar before he'd eat them. And I needed to dip my fries in something, so I got used to dipping them in mustard. I actually didn't mind it. But there are sometimes they'll experiment with weird flavors. Valencia, dipping Lay's into banana strawberry yoplait is addictive. Oh, I can believe it. Megadog 555, Mark Jansen, Epica. Okay. So we will look into Epica, but I want you to send me the best link of them live. Same with the other band we were talking about. Eric, easier to share sounds than taste on YouTube. Al Rosen, do you tend to interview guitar players only or anyone? I do interview guitar players, but anyone who's a big name in music, really, Al. Like we've interviewed Susan Rogers, who was involved in recording of Prince's Purple Rain album. Scotty Baldwin, he was Prince's longtime sound engineer. I interviewed Phil Demmel. He played with Machine Head and Violence. A lot of different people. Rick Hunold from Exodus. I did have Alex Skolnick from Testament on tap. I was talking to Alex. We were trying to settle on a time. He's an extremely busy guy. Also, one of my favorite, if not my all-time favorite guitar player. But there's some family stuff going on with him right now. So, in fact, I think he's I missed the first half of Testament's European tour. So, but hopefully we will have Alex sooner or later on the show. Madhouse. I never did a Madhouse reaction. I'm going to take a note. We will definitely look into that, Valencia. Madhouse. And we're not talking about the Anthrax song. Madhouse. Prince. We will definitely look into that. Wanda, I wish you could interview Michael McDonald from the Doobie Brothers. Absolutely. Wouldn't that be cool to interview him and Ronald McDonald in the same interview? Okay, now I'm getting really. You can tell food's on my mind here. Gay, I'd love to see what you think of Marco's Beast double neck bass and guitar. I would love to check that out. Mega Dog, I love Marco. That's why I love High Hopes. A man named Briggs. Madhouse is pretty sweet. Excellent. Oh, Princess Madhouse. How was that riff for Anthrax? Anyway, that's me being funny. But that's the riff to the Anthrax song. Al Rosen, my dad knows the guys in the Doobie Brothers. That's awesome. Sam, track down Maceo Parker for an interview. Okay, Maceo. Sam, I know. Poor Sam. She deals with me with my memory issues all the time. I'm like, Sam, what was that? Or we talk about it, and she'll tell me, or who was that again? What were we talking about? I'm like that guy in Bugs Bunny. Was it an okapi? No. Walrus? No. Was it? That's what my brain's turned into. Yes, absolutely. Tony, we're looking Brown Mark for sure. Sonny T. Rosen, he's going to the show, likely meeting them backstage. That is so cool. Gay, you know that old joke. Who's the best singer from Nightwish, Tarja and At Her Floor? Correct answer, Marco. He is awesome. In the video I'm uploading tonight, I talk a little bit about Marco leaving and my thoughts as to why that might be. Megadog, the Islander Live has that guitar. Green-eyed baby girl, I'm just going to call you Valencia, okay? That's how I know you. I wish you could interview Slash or Santana. That would be great, but the good thing is might not happen now, but as the channel keeps slowly growing, we keep slowly moving in the right direction, your channel will get to a point, if it's big enough, you're going to be able to interview just about anyone. So we'll definitely keep that in mind. Eric Vermeulen, Arian Lucassen does some YouTube interviews recently. Now that Supersonic Revolution album is out, he plays bass as a guitarist in this project and has great technique. Cool. Megadog, my favorite bass player is Power from Sabaton. I am aware of Sabaton because of the connection with Thor. I'm going to look more into Sabaton. Wanda Manning, yes, Carlos Santana. Wanda, I have a feeling if we get the channel big enough, we'll be able to interview him. Al, have you gotten into any Ginger? Oh, yes. I love Ginger, and I haven't forgotten about Ginger. I have a Ginger reaction coming up. They're another band I'd like to interview as well. I'd like to really, the drummer just blows my mind, all the different time signatures in this latest one we did that he goes through. But the guitar player, I got to figure out the tuning he uses because it's a little weird. It's not just straight tuned down. There's some weird stuff going on there. But he's amazing. I love Ginger. Miguel Lawandos. Not sure if anyone mentioned Michael Angelo Badio, but he'd be great. So I'm going to tell you something, Miguel. Michelangelo Badio is an influence of mine, especially with some of the speed picking and sweep picking. And I remember in the late 80s, my guitar teacher, my first formal guitar teacher, who was an amazing teacher, he lent me the Starlix VHS of Michelangelo Badio, and it just really affected me in a good way. I remember watching it over and over and learning a lot from it. I have contacted him a few times and followed up. Did not get a response, but I don't take that personally because these people are very busy. But he and Rusty Cooley are buds, and Rusty's pretty cool with me. We text each other every other week. I did interview Rusty last year, so I'm going to see if Rusty can put in a good word for me because I would love to interview Michelangelo Badio. Amazing guitar player. Very, very, he's an influence on my playing. Manny and Briggs, Michael Anthony, Joe Satriani, half of the band Chickenfoot. Let's go for the other half. Let's go for Chad Smith. But if we can't get Chad Smith, let's get Will Ferrell instead and say we're interviewing Chad Smith. I know you'll get that one, Tony. Arch Enemy has two famous guitarists and one of the best drummers. So Arch Enemy, again, I'm getting into remembering names. Jeff Loomis, I am working on that. If I'm really hoping, again, might have to lean on my buddy Rusty, who's friends with Jeff, to get that interview, but that will happen. Yeah, I'd like to interview Tiziana too, Al. Yeah, and one of the things too is when you do an interview, you got to really prepare for it. So I go into this gathering mode, like Alex and I, Skolnick from Testament, we were talking about. I have like so many sheets. I've read his book. I've was so prepared for the interview, and again, hopefully, I can interview him maybe later on this year. Great guy, and he's great to his fans and everything too. But I'd really want to prepare for that with Ginger for sure. Tony, absolutely, Tony. Hey, it's been a really busy week. Lots of stuff going on as usual, but we'll be in touch more to talk about a few things. Some ideas I have for sure. Enjoy the nice weather. Just remember, the angels fly because they take themselves lightly. Okay. Greg Howe. Okay, Miguel Lawandos. I love Greg Howe. I had his instructional video in the late 80s. He went through some personal tragedies. I believe his wife died a while ago. She got very sick and died. There's another guitar player who I actually had a bit of contact with over 20 years ago, Steve Smythe. He's with Forbidden now, but he filled in for a while in the Guitar of Testament. He actually bought a piece of gear off me, and we talked on the phone over 20 years ago a few times. I'd like to talk to him too and have him on the show, but his wife died. And, when people are going through personal stuff, the last thing you want to do is like bug them. But definitely hoping for Michelangelo Badio. But one of the things that we have on our side is, when you approach people and you have 500 subscribers, that's one thing. When you approach people and you have over 20,000 subscribers, that's another thing. But if the channel keeps growing, the bigger your channel gets, the easier it's going to be to get these people, because then they get more exposure with the interview, right? So, but definitely Greg Howe too, as well. He's just a phenomenal player. I've contacted a lot of people, Marty Friedman, John Petrucci. It's been a very dry month. I probably Michael Romeo from Symphony X. I was talking to Levi Clay, who has a really growing, successful channel. Levi's a great player. Michael Romeo is his favorite player, and he can't even get an interview with him. So it's just one of those things. But all we can do is keep trying. All right, chat GPT. That AI stuff I stay away from. My mom's like, "Oh, Brian, you should check this out." My mom's in her 80s, and she talks to this chat GPT thing all the time. But now it's like, do you know that there's YouTube channels where people go use that to script upcoming videos? That seems weird to me. I don't know. Paul Chapman, how's it going, Paul? My favorite guitarist, Empu Vuornanen from Nightwish, of course. Yes, he's a great guitar player for sure. So, Megadog 555, that famous bass factory in Canada, the Epica bass player plays one, I think is in Saskatoon. Now, there was a band that kind of had their heyday in Canada and a little bit in the US in the early 80s called Kick-Axe. And the bass player played a really wild looking bass. It was shaped like a double axe. And I'm wondering if it's the same. Was it Fury? Was the name of the company? They're still going. Mad Dog, yeah, Paul. ESP EV1. That's what Empu plays. He definitely uses ESP guitars. Sam, if you saw my to-do list of private chat GPT too, well, sometimes you got to take a break from working, right? Miguel, Forbidden Rules, absolutely do. I've reached out to Craig Lasatero as well. So I put out a lot of feelers. It's kind of a quiet time right now. I think a lot of bands are rehearsing, getting prepared to go out on tour again. I know Forbidden is, they're doing a big reunion thing. Testament are going back out on tour. I know Exodus, they had to cancel the tour because Gary Holt's going through a lot with his brother right now. That's a whole other story. I'd like to have Gary on down the road too. Gay, does Embu speak English? From what I know, some of the commenters have said that he doesn't speak English very well, but I don't know. I thought not, but I just saw a short clip somewhere where he's speaking a few English words. Might have learned over the years he has been touring. Al, loved that band. Are we talking about Kick-Axe or which band are we talking about here? Paul Chapman still touring. Kick-Axe's Rock the World cassette. I was playing until I couldn't play anymore. That's cool. Also, if you could ever arrange a meeting with Jason Becker to keep his name out there to help him, Miguel, I have reached out to Herman Lee. Okay, I've reached out to Herman. I'd like to kind of, this is all a one-man show here, right? I don't have producers. I don't have technical advisors. But I like the way Herman does his podcasts, his live streams. I wanted to, even though I'm a very small YouTube channel compared to those guys, I wanted to tap into that to help with the Jason Becker fundraiser. The little I can do, I do, if we look at Ren's getting medical help in Canada for Lyme's disease. Well, he has a GoFundMe. Well, the least I can do is mention it and post it in my, but I wanted to do something with Herman Lee to a small extent. My channel, it's weird because it's a small channel, but it's not really a small channel. Is it medium? Like, what do you guys consider a medium-sized YouTube channel? But I'm hoping down the road to connect with all those guys. But I have reached out to Herman Lee as well, right, to do an interview, a chat, whatever. So it's just a weird time right now. You go through these dry periods. Like when I interviewed Rick Hunold, who was with Exodus for a long time. He has a new band called Die Humane. Rick was great, but it was kind of hard to track down and schedule a thing with him. He had a lot going on. Phil Demmel, I sent him an email. He said, "Yeah, let's do it." Anyone who knows about Phil Demmel, he's super busy. And like within 2 days, we had an interview scheduled, and it was a great one. It was really cool. So it's just one of those really weird, quiet times. Al Rosan, Matt Heafy from Trivian also has a great Twitch stream from time to time. He's accessible, I think, pretty humble. You see a lot of Matt Heafy on social media, but the other is a Greg Bulio. I forget. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he doesn't seem to be quite as much in the social eye. I've also been thinking about contacting the guys in Slipknot, Jim Root or Mick Thompson. Although I think Mick might be more of an interesting interview, but so there's a lot of options out there as the channel grows. But Miguel, I've been reaching out to a lot of people, and the patrons that are Prince fans, we've reached out to people on the Prince end of things. It's a weird time right now. It's just, before Christmas, it was really weird to get interviews. Like, all you do too, you send out to their business contacts, and sometimes you hear back, and most of them you don't hear back. So all you can do is, leave it alone for a while and then try again when your channel is growing a bit more. But Michelangelo Badio would absolutely love to have him on. I remember learning a really cool tapping lick. It's a major seventh tapping lick. See if I can remember it. Anyway, I butchered it there. I'm trying to remember it off the top of my head. But it was a Michelangelo Badio lick. Huh. Anyway. But I love Michelangelo Badio. I hope to definitely have him on the show at some point. And I'm trying. Believe me, I'm trying. Kiko Lareo, yeah. I had David Ellefson on, and I have been in touch with Jeff Young, who played with Megadeth. They're doing the Kings of Thrash thing. I've talked with Jeff a few times on the phone. I love Megadeth, but man, I don't want to say anything. I thought about talking to Glenn Drover. I've contacted Marty Freeman. And the day after I contacted Marty, he has a video on Rick Beato's, an interview on Rick Beato's channel. So I was like, well, okay, I'm not going to hear from him for a while. But man, that band's gone through so many people, you know, and it's hard not to think when a band has such a turning door of musicians, what the problem is, but I won't comment on it. But I post my reaction videos in Patreon yet? So what we're doing right now, Sam, the video I'm uploading, the Prince related one to Patreon, it's 3-point-something gigs. We're a little challenged for bandwidth here, so it's a long upload. Then I got 2 other videos I got to upload, one for YouTube and another one for the Nightwish fans on Patreon too. So they'll definitely be up tonight though. Ampu do finger taps on High Hopes. I'm looking forward to checking it out as well. How Rosan, okay. Paul Chapman, okay. Sam, I played drums in my brother's Gore cover band when I was 10. He wouldn't let me be in any of his homemade music videos though. I remember when I was in high school and Gore came to Ottawa. I went to high school in Ottawa, and a guy in my class went to see them. His name was Kevin Berger. Kevin was a great guy. He was a little odd, as I was. And he came back and he had like blood from the show all over his, like, I guess they had. Anyway, he loved the Gore video. Sorry, the Gore, seeing them at Barrymore's. I got to play at Barrymore's years later, a few gigs, and man, it's a famous place in Ottawa. I don't know, Al, if you ever played there. I was kind of disappointed with the onstage sound. With my monitor mix, it was horrible hearing everything. But I got to play a famous place in Ottawa, so that's cool. Al Rosen, yeah, Mustaine's Ball of Anger, I feel, but I digress. He's great, but you know, the thing with him and Metallica, it's gotten old. That was 40 years ago. It's like, dude, you fired a lot of people too. Like, you've been successful. You're a great musician. Let's just move forward. Paul Chapman, I can't hear it. Yeah, I can't get the strings to ring. Paul, I posted a video a few weeks ago called Hammer-Ons and Pull-Offs for Dummies. I talked a little bit about tapping in it. A couple little things people don't know that they miss when they do them. You might want to check that video out. Sam, the Meat Sandwich music video is awesome. They're playing basketball with Jesus. If I remember correctly, super weird band. Have you ever done any reactions to Rat-a-Tat? No, I haven't. Gore, yeah. All right, Al, you have a great time. Great, thanks for tuning in. And I'm going to wind it down now. I have to get my videos uploaded to Patreons. I got my Patreonies, and I got to get my YouTube video uploaded. Then I got to get ready to do guitar lessons. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us here on this live stream. I really appreciate it. We'll do another one in a few weeks. And for my Patrons, I've got to figure out a time when we can do a Patreon Zoom, because I'd like to say hi to all the new Patreons and all the new Nightwish fans that have joined my Patreon. The support means a lot, guys. It really does. Okay, thank you so much, everybody, and we will talk soon. Have a great afternoon.